You know, as we said, the more Chanel Double C, the more popular it's going to get. Hello my friends! The latest Chanel collection has just started hitting stores, and I thought before I go ahead and make an appointment to see the pieces in person, we could review the collection together and discuss the big question: is Chanel still worth the money after all the price increases that they have been through? And if so, which are the pieces that you should jump on before the next price rise? Which with Chanel you can never know when that happens. And which are the pieces that you should just skip at this point? Also, I would love for you to share your thoughts in the comment section. So if there are any pieces that stand out to you that you love or you hate, please be sure to share. I would love for this to feel like a big group of friends going shopping together. But without further ado, if you'd like to review the new Chanel Fall Winter 21 line, which I believe insiders are calling the 21K collection together, then please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and keep on watching. I'm really excited because this is going to be my first time seeing the collection together as a whole too. I have seen a couple of sneak peeks on Instagram here and there, and I was sent a few pictures from my store of just a few things that are expected to be coming in, but I'm really excited to take a good look and see what we can expect to see on shelves from Chanel in the next couple of months. So let me scroll down and see what we have here. I think most of you will be interested in bags, so why don't we start just there? Okay, Chanel is not holding back. They throw us in right at the deep end. And the first bag that they start with is the limited edition runway edition of one of their classic bags, the 2.55, but in the mini size. And this bag, it says that the price is only available upon request, but I do know the price of this piece because this picture was among the pieces that were sent to me to look at and think about. Well, as soon as I found out the price, there wasn't too much thinking because yes, it is an exceptional piece, but the price is just as exceptional, or in my opinion, more like outrageous. But I would love for you to guess the price down below. Just leave me a number. Let me know what you think the price of this piece would be. Based on the fact that it is hand beaded and hand embroidered, it has all these incredible glass and pearl details, which to me, when I first looked at this bag, I thought that the inspiration might have been some sort of like a high-tech computer game or something along those lines, because it kind of looked like microchips to me when I first glanced at this bag. And I thought that maybe it's exceptional not only because of the hand embroidery and all these incredible details and the craftsmanship that goes into the making of this piece, but also because there might be some additional element to this piece. Maybe you can plug it into your computer and it has a cool graphics embedded in the piece. Or maybe, I don't know, the bag lights up, which is something that Chanel had done before. Well, it doesn't do any of that as far as I know, but it is beautifully done. So have you guessed the price? If you have, let me tell you that this bag is expected to retail for $29,000. Yes, you heard that right, $29,000. I hope you're holding on to something because I could not believe when I heard the price tag. If that ends up being the case, if this is really what this bag is going to cost, I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. And to be honest with you, even if you're willing to spend that kind of money on a bag, especially on a Chanel bag, I don't think this should be it, because yes, it looks like a beautiful bag, but it does not look like a $30,000 bag. Far from that, to be honest. I love the mini 2.55. If I was to buy a classic Chanel bag at this point, this is the size and style that I would go for. But if you're looking for something special, you don't have to spend $30,000. You can go and buy this in a beautiful tweed finish. You can even buy it in leather, because this bag itself already looks kind of expensive because of how soft and almost vintagey it looks, but in the best way possible. The chain is really heavy and substantial, so I don't think you need to go out and spend $30,000 on this particular bag because there is nothing about this that for me would justify it. Even though I'm sure that a lot of effort and thought goes into the making of this bag, I don't think it looks it. If you love it, I mean, by all means, go put in a request for this. I'm sure they're not going to make a lot of them. But in my opinion, it's not worth the money. It's a great bag, but it looks just as good in tweed or in leather, and it's not going to cost you your firstborn. The next bag on the list is the mini flap bag with the top handle, which I think is a style that Chanel has been doing for maybe a couple of seasons now, and I have to tell you, I love this style. I love how fresh, cool, and young it is, yet of course it's rooted in the classic timeless style of the classic flap. I have said this before, but I do think that the classic flap has sort of lost its magic. My heart just doesn't skip a beat anymore when I see one walking down the street. But if you love the idea of a classic flap, but you cannot justify buying one of the traditional ones, especially for the price these days, this is a fabulous fresh take on it, which, similar to a classic flap, will last forever in your collection. It will never go out of style. But that top handle just gives you, I think, a little bit more diversity to this bag. You can do a lot more with this piece, and in this new light pale blue color, it is fabulous. Here is the perfect example that you don't have to spend $30,000 to get a unique, special, expensive looking mini Chanel bag, because we have the mini 2.55 in this new light purple color, which looks just as expensive as the hand beaded one. Yes, it might not be as special, as finicky, and as delicate as the previous version, but to me, it gives me the same sort of cool, elegant, fresh feel, and I do think that this is a piece that you'd be able to style in so many more different ways. This is a bag that you can take to the grocery store with you, or you can take it to a gala. It really doesn't matter. It's just such a classic style, which I think is universally flattering. It looks great on everyone, and if you are looking for a new cool tone color, something a little bit more pastel for the winter, a perfect style to go for. Then we have a bucket bag that is covered in crystals for $11,000. No, thank you. I don't think bucket bags are pieces that you should spend money on. If anything, bucket bags are kind of on the bottom of the tier when it comes to bag styles, at least in my opinion. They should be the most reasonably priced bags, considering that there really isn't too much construction to those pieces, so it doesn't matter what it's encrusted in. Please don't spend money on this. Then we have a couple more exceptional pieces, which, as I mentioned before, Chanel comes out with these exceptional pieces each season. In some cases they are made of plastic, in others they are classic styles that are sort of re-envisioned with some more special finishes or embroidery or beading. Well, these are the sort of plastic bags of the season, which are basically a plastic take on the classic double flap. I always have a soft spot for these plastic bags. I don't think I would ever spend the money on them because I don't have that connection with Chanel. But if you do, these are stunning. They are collector's pieces. These are not to be used on a daily basis. Even if you don't really care about how they wear and how they age, you just simply won't be able to use them on a daily basis. I do have a friend who collects these bags, and she told me that these bags are so finicky that they're really not made to be used. Here is another flap bag that's similar to the one with the top handle. I could absolutely see a time and a place for. As I said, my heart just doesn't skip a beat when I see a Chanel double flap walking down the street these days. Unless they are made of tweed, or in this case, this really cool silk fabric, which has tiny little CCs all over it, which personally I think was done in a really tasteful way here, because the fabric is tone on tone, so I could see this bag looking almost just like a solid one colored piece, unless you see it in certain lights and then the CCs just kind of shine through. This is a beautiful piece. Now, again, because it's not made of leather, it might not last as long in your collection or hold up as well as a leather piece would. But if you're looking for a unique piece, I think this is really a great one. Is it just me, or are there more exceptional pieces in the Chanel collection this season that there have been in previous years? Because here we have another one made of shearling with embroideries and pearls, which I think this is in the classic flap style. So this would be larger than the previous mini flaps that we looked at. It is absolutely stunning. Again, this is not the most functional piece, but if you're looking for a special Chanel bag, you have one right here. This one, I don't know the price of exactly, and it doesn't tell you here. I would personally say that this should be somewhere around the $17,000 mark. That would be my guess, but my guess is as good as yours. If we find that price, I'll put it up on the screen here before this video goes live, and if you know, please be sure to share it down below. But I would guess $15,000, $16,000, maybe $17,000, something along those lines. And I'm actually really surprised by how many exceptional pieces they are doing this season. I guess Chanel really listened when people were complaining that they lost their exclusivity, because they increased their prices to a point where not a lot of people will be clearing shelves, and they're coming out with more and more hard to get pieces. And it's abundantly clear that their strategy is working, because if you go to a Chanel store and if you ask for something more popular, their pieces are nearly impossible to get regardless of how expensive they become. So I guess their plan is working, and they are trying to get back that exclusivity that they once lost. So if you've always wanted a special Chanel piece, you might want to jump on these now before they're even more ridiculously expensive than they were in years prior. How do you guys feel about these solid, more structured, almost trunk-like bags? Because Chanel makes them every season. Some seasons they call them a vanity case. This season they call them a small box bag. And I have to be honest with you, I think they always do an incredible job with these pieces. I was just recently shown one from a previous collection, which they called a vanity case, and it felt really sturdy, really heavy duty and well made. And I didn't think the price was that bad compared to other brands. Obviously Louis Vuitton, they do their petite main. Dior has been making trunk bags too. And compared to those prices, Chanel really isn't that outrageous. So if you love a solid heavy duty trunk bag, I think this is a great piece to go for. It is really unique, and for $4,500, I really don't think it's outrageous. You get it in black this season, and then also in a hot dark pink. I would approve of both of these bags for whatever that's worth. If Chanel asked for my creative input, I would have named this bag the Small Classic Spaceman bag. There's just something almost sort of spaceship-like about this piece, which means that, you know, I love it. Anything with stars, moons, galaxies, I will love. And even though this piece doesn't have any of that, it kind of reminds me of a spacesuit. It's in this really puffy, sort of almost pillow-like shape, but then the finish of this bag is in this hammered metallic calfskin, which I do think looks really special for $7,100. It is really expensive, but if you like the look of things like the Louis Vuitton mirror collection that Virgil has just recently brought back, this is a cool piece. I mean, for $7,000, you're definitely paying a lot for this, but it is really unique. So if you've been looking for a metallic bag, which I think more people look for those than you would think, this is something that you have coming up this season. This wouldn't be a Chanel collection in 2021 if they didn't try to drown us in Chanel logos. So here we go, we have a flat bag in printed fabric with this cool sort of Chanel repetition logo on it. I don't know why, but it kind of works for me. I like the way this looks. I think this would be beautifully styled with just a pair of really simple jeans, a white t-shirt, this bag, and you're good to go. This just takes over the show if you love a lazy look, if you don't want to spend any time thinking about how you put your outfits together, you much rather just use a statement bag. This is a great piece to have in your collection. Wow, I might be eating my words by the end of this video when I said that I'm usually not into Chanel flat bags, because this season they have some really nice ones. I am not a Chanel flat kind of guy, but if you are, this ombre sort of purpley light blue and white Chanel classic bag. I mean, it is magical. Yes, it's expensive for $700-800, but if you're looking for a light colored bag, but you don't want to go for white because of the color transfer, but you don't quite want to go for a color because you just don't think you'd get enough use out of it to justify the price, this is a spectacular piece to have in your collection, and the ombreing is done so beautifully. I guess all these price increases, they put the money where their mouth was and they did improve on their designs. Let's quickly touch on small leather goods and then we'll look at some shoes and some standout ready to wear pieces. But I definitely want to talk about SLGs because if there is one brand that knows how to create SLGs that yes, you can use as a small leather good accompanied with another bag, but you can also use on its own as a bag, it is Chanel. I mean, they were the brand that popularized the wallet on the chain trend. I'm not sure if they were the first brand to do it, but they were definitely the one that has become the most well known for doing that. So let's look if there's anything interesting. We have this clutch bag with a chain with this sort of metallic piece there. Unless you're the Tin Man, I don't think that's interesting. They have a card holder with a jewel hook. What is a jewel hook? Let's see. So this hook looks to me that it was inspired by the Coco Rush jewelry collection, which is a collection that I really like, I have to be honest. But for some reason, I have never pulled the trigger. I have never been intrigued enough to actually add one to my collection. But I do really like the way the Coco Crush collection looks. And this season, it seems like they have a card holder with a hook that has the same pattern as the Coco Crush collection. I don't know in what situations you'd really use this with the hook on it. Maybe if you were running errands and you wanted to attach a card holder to your jeans, that could be kind of cool. I have done a similar look with my Kelly Twilly with a more formal pair of pants, and I love the way that looked, except the Kelly Twilly is not functional. It is really expensive for $1,200, but I mean, I think the Kelly Pocket is around the same price too. And this is a little bit bigger, feels a lot more structured, and you do get that additional accessory. So yeah, I think these days it's not the end of the world. It seems to come in white and a light pink. So this is a piece that I personally find interesting. This coin purse with the top handle is the cutest, most adorable thing. It's basically the shrunk version of the flat bag with the top handle that I showed you, which Chanel has been doing for at least 2 seasons now. And I personally wasn't quite sure how functional these would be, but I ended up speaking to a friend of mine, not about this particular piece, but about the previous ones that they launched. And my friend ended up buying this in almost every single color she could find it in because she said that they are so incredibly functional and useful to have in your collection because they fit a credit card, they fit your keys. So if you're going on a grocery run or a school run, you can just throw this crossbody and you're good to go. And in this light baby purple color, it is just absolutely breathtaking. If you love mini bags, this is just, I mean, wow. So we have a couple of boots. We have these higher boots that kind of look like sort of vintage ski boots from the 50s. Then the next boots, this is quite interesting. I don't remember seeing this before. Or were these, I think these might have been the one on the runway, which, you know what these look like? They kind of look like a pair of Uggs that were turned inside out, or a pair of Uggs that have been chewed up by your dog because of all that fur just sort of oozing out of the whole thing. Not a piece that I would recommend for anyone to buy, and obviously it is going to be a no-go from me. Then they have some of their classic lace-up boots in new editions. These are the perfect investment piece. If you want to invest in a pair of shoes that you know is going to suit everything and you can reach for every single fall and winter, and you don't have to worry about them clashing with pretty much anything in your collection, these are great pieces to go for. So you have one in leather in a more high top version, then you have one in tweed, and I think they're also doing it in denim this season. I remember seeing it at Chanel. These are a fabulous investment piece. These will never go out of style. They make them every single season and they just become more and more expensive. So if you want to hear my thoughts, these are absolutely a recommendation from me. One piece of ready to wear that I have no doubt is going to sell out before it even gets on shelves is this undershirt, which comes in black and in white. In black, you have these tiny little sparkles on the double C's, and then in the white version, the double C's are just in plain black. And I think that if you can get your hands on this piece, this is actually a great investment piece to have in your collection because you can style this underneath a plethora of different things. You can put this underneath a really simple white shirt to kind of dress it up. If you have a more formal blouse or shirt, this is a great way to dress it down. In the winter, if you want to wear a blazer or a crop jacket that you don't find the most flattering or it would be just too cold to wear in the winter, this is a great layering piece to put it underneath it and make it look like a conscious styling decision rather than a mistake. I think a lot of brands do these undershirts. Dior is of course most well known for their lace shirts. Fendi does their own version. Who else makes them? There are definitely other brands who do them too, but if you love Chanel, this is a fabulous piece to have. Obviously it's going to be over $2,000, so it's not for the faint of heart. But considering how expensive Chanel ready to wear is these days, I think this is a piece that you truly be able to take advantage of on a regular basis. You can layer this underneath even the most simple, basic chunky knitwear piece, and you have a runway look on your hands. I think it is a great piece to add to your collection. As I mentioned, it comes in white and in black, but if you like the way this looks, get on it as soon as you can because the more Chanel logo a piece has, the more difficult it's going to be to come by these days. I think the standout piece from the runway collection when it comes to ready to wear was definitely this lilac jacket, which is not only quintessentially Chanel because of the tweed, but it also has double C's all the way down the collar, which, you know, as we said, the more Chanel double C, the more popular it's going to get. But I actually find this shape to be really quite flattering. It's a much more boxy, relaxed, comfortable shape than some of the recent jackets that they have launched. So if you love lilac, if you're looking for a pop of color to add to your collection, this is a timeless piece that can be yours for $8,000. And my friends, this completes today's video. To be really frank with you, didn't expect to like this collection as much as I did. I am especially impressed by some of their new bags. I would love to know your thoughts. I hope there were some pieces that you enjoyed from this collection, and there were some others that you perhaps didn't, but I'm still very much interested in hearing your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video as a whole, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. And I hope to see you back here with a new video on Sunday. Bye.